Hi, welcome. My name's Becky Ash, and I'm a certified science teacher in the state of Tennessee for grades 7 through 12. I'm here today to introduce you to the performance task that you've been assigned on chemical materials engineer creating a new portable water bottle. This is something being asked of seventh graders to help you learn how people in the real world might use the knowledge you've been studying about knowing whether something is a mixture or a compound or a pure substance, whether it's an elemental or a compound molecule, and how knowing where something is on the periodic table tells you something about its structure and other properties. Those are things that the people in the kind of job that you're going to take on in this task use in their work every day. So when you log in to Defined Learning under Assigned Projects, you're going to find the names of anything that your teacher has assigned there. And what you're looking for this one is going to say seventh grade chemical materials engineer creating a new portable water bottle. And when you log in, this is what you're going to see is a page just like this. So first, we're going to look at the project instructions and be reminded that when we're done, this is the learning. These are the standards that we should have a deeper understanding of when we get done with it, because we're going to take what we know and actually apply it. And particularly in this task that we're about to do, you're going to take on the role of a chemical materials engineer. You can take a moment and familiarize yourself with the introduction and the driving question. This is kind of what drives this project. What makes a portable water bottle effective, affordable, and safe while having minimal impact on the environment? When you think of water bottles, what material do you think of? Do you use plastic ones? Do you use glass, stainless steel, aluminum? They're all out there. And it seems like in marketing, we keep getting told, oh, use this, not that. It's better for the environment. Well, this is your chance to learn and to make a decision for yourself. And while you're at it, you're going to make a recommendation to a company about what they should be using. So we'll see how strong your argument is. So, as is true with all of these performance tasks, when you look here at the screen, you're going to get an introduction to the project, and then you're going to get career videos. These are examples and interviews with people who actually do this kind of work. And they'll talk a little bit about how what they know helps them and what they do and how they got into whatever field it is that they're working in. You be sure you don't skip the guiding questions. They're there in every section of these tasks. And I'm not logged in as a student right now. On your screen, you're going to see the questions, and there'll be a text box directly underneath it. And you just type your answers there and then say complete. So the next thing you're going to do is to explore what the project is, the background behind it. In other words, you're going to figure out what is the problem that's being addressed and what are you being asked to do to solve it, and what do you have to turn in for your grade. So it starts always with the grasp of the situation, which stands for goal, role, audience, situation, and then the P is just to make it a word so you can remember it. I like to think of the P as the problem we're going to be tackling. So the goal is talking about the goal of this task. It's not the goal of the products for your grade. The role is important because you want to, when you create your products, you want to create it from that role. In this case, it tells you you're part of a team of engineers who are determining what type of material should be used to produce a new portable drink container that your company is going to market to athletes. Your company's concerned with presenting an environmentally friendly image as well as the health and well-being of its customers. So you're an engineer, which means you've got the background in the chemical part of this, but you're going to have to learn a little bit about it being environmentally friendly. What does that mean? You're going to have to think about what do people who are concerned about their health and well-being, what are they concerned about? And all of that will come into play in the products that you're creating. And you need to know your audience. Who are you creating for? In this case, your audience is not necessarily the athletes who are going to be using this water bottle. In this case, your audience is the board of directors for the company. So you're going to be persuading them that what you're recommending is the right way to go, and you're going to use scientific facts to back it up. And then the situation, this gives a little bit more context. Why does this company think this is a worthwhile project at this time? What's in it for them? And as they point out, in the real world, this kind of a pitch happens all the time. And your job and the future of your company, depending on your decisions and scientific understanding, might blossom and get even bigger, and you might cause it to tank. So pressure could be on if you're doing this in the real world. You are doing it for the benefit of a grade. So to determine what you've got to do to get that grade, you're going to find on that left-hand side the work products that you're going to be turning in. Every time you have work products, if you'll click on them, you're going to see a video. It's a short video. And remember, these videos are made to help describe what your product might look like. It's also described here in this little paragraph. So if you already have an idea, you don't have to watch the video. There's nothing they're going to share in there. If you already have an idea, there's nothing they're going to share that would probably make a difference. But they are short. I do encourage you to do it. The other thing that you might be interested in is how are you going to get graded? There's always going to be a green box that says rubrics and scoring for each of the work products. When I click on that, it shows me for this product, which is a chart, um, down the left-hand column, these are the criteria whoever is grading is going to use to assign the grade, and across the top are the levels of grades. So you probably want to be reading in this fourth column here on the far right because that's the highest grade, so shoot for the best. And as you look down the left column, what you're going to see are these are the things that are important to the people who are grading it. When it talks about entering the data into the chart, they're looking for information that's accurate and presented in a reader-friendly manner. So that means I probably need to be neat in my work and with accurate information. Maybe I need to be able to cite the sources for where I got the information I put in there. And then there are similar descriptions for each of the other criteria. Those are always there for you to go back and double check as you're working on the products to make sure that you're doing the best work that you can. And then to click out of that, you just click an X in the upper right-hand corner. There's one of those for each of the work products you're going to be working on. And if you notice this particular one on the scale drawing, it uses quite a bit of math. So they actually have a second video about the product, and it's specifically on scale modeling. So if creating scale models is not something you've done before, or math isn't your strong suit, you might want to take you might want to take a quick watch of that video because it's going to give you some tips on how to do it. And then for the third product, same thing. It talks about what a good work product might look like, and they always have the rubrics and scoring. And before I move on, don't forget at the end of every section, there's going to be a student check-in. And sometimes it's one question, sometimes it's several, but yours is always going to show up with the question and then a text box, and you're going to answer directly into the box. So then we get into the meat of the project. Every time you do a project, the first thing that's going to show up are these short animated videos. They're called learning objects. And these were created specifically to address the standards, the learning goals that your teacher is emphasizing with this task. So it's very oriented towards the facts that you need in order to do the project. In this particular case, you see that the titles, there are things like synthetic materials and materials and their properties, because that's the kind of background that you're going to need as a chemical materials engineer. It's not going to talk about how we create water bottles, how we create out of the different materials, those were in the exploring the background pieces of it. So these are the ones that focus on the learning. And the nice thing, as videos, you can always go back and rewatch them, pause them, take notes if you want to, but those are there to support your learning. And then there are videos that are usually live action, and they support the task that you're being asked to do. The learning objects are about the standards, the videos are usually about the task that you're doing. And then there are research resources, and these are going to be links to articles. So if you learn best by reading about things, this is going to be where you want to spend your time. And you see they're linked up here at the top when you go over the green text, which is the title of the article. It tells you how long ago the article was. In this case, you see this box says research resources from your teacher. So your teacher has identified an additional article. The ones below that are embedded in the task are were selected by the platform Defined Learning, and they can be pretty broad, even though they all have something to do with the task. Anything your teacher is going to add, I would consider that something I really need. If I don't read any of the others, I need to read that one because that was put there because it directly supports something. It might be a learning objective or it might be something about the task. So you really want to pay attention if there's anything in this box, resources from your teachers. And again, for each of the work products, for each of the work products as you go through, there are going to be check-in questions. And the best way to do it is to complete the check-in questions for each work product as you finish that product. Don't wait till you've done all of them and then go back because they're going to get confused in your head. Now, because we always want to model the engineering design process, you notice in the research part, it asked you questions and reflections, but it didn't ask you to submit the work. That's because we want to give you a chance to model the design process. At the beginning of step 4, the design process, in every one of these performance tasks, it's this same video. It just walks you through the steps of the design process. So it's a great short review. It's also described here in text below if you'd rather read about it. But then you're able to walk through each of the products that you are working on and go through the design process. It walks you through the brainstorming, which is the first step, and then the decision process. And then for each work product, it gives you a chance to take your ideas from the brainstorming and your decision to go back and revise the work product. And here's where you'll submit it. And then there's always a final reflection. These are going to be questions that were hand selected by your teacher to give him or her the best idea of exactly what you've learned. It's a chance for you to show off what you've learned about it. And again, it'll have the questions and then there'll be the text box and you type directly in it. If you're really interested in the topic, you're always invited to go to the related content. It's going to be more ideas, other tasks you could do if this interested you, other reading you could do if the topic interested you. Those are there to support your learning as well. I hope you have a great time designing a better water bottle, and I look forward to seeing you again on your next task.